I know Armin already for years, for 15 years maybe. Yeah, 12, 13, maybe 15
How
years.
was it?
How did it come about? I was at a convention in Holland, and I had just released, I think it was Moonman, Don't Be Afraid. And I was at a convention. The convention was about keyboards and all kind of musical instruments. And all of a sudden, this guy comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, you're Ferry, right?" Yeah. Yeah. Hi, I'm Armin. And he just released Blue Fear. So we were just, it's like, "Oh, you're Armin." Okay, and that's how it came about. And we stayed in touch, and started DJing, in different places, and ran into each other, and then became friends in a way. So yeah.
Our hearts are never broken, and there's no joy in the mending.
After what Armin did to it, there's no room for that anymore. I mean, there's the original, and then there's the drum edit, and the track speaks for itself. Maybe in 3-4 years time again, when everybody is like, okay, yeah, we know those tracks now, and then all of a sudden come with a new spin. Yeah, most likely. I mean, this was our 4th track that we've done together. So maybe on the next album or for something else, we will team up again. Yeah. I think definitely System F.
Really?
System F Out of the Blue was the first one, in that kind of style that did a lot for me. And then, so that was the first album, and then I also, because it blew up in Japan completely, so I did another album, which is called Together, for the Japanese market only.
Yeah.
So, and with that I just could just go completely crazy on that sort of synthy trance stuff for the longest time. It was just real fun to do, and eventually I started doing stuff under my own name, so the rest died down a bit. But 1998 actually, and then 1999 the album came out, or 2000 actually the album came out, I think. And then the second album, the Together album I did for Japan was, I believe, 2002. So it's been a while, I think the chance is getting slimmer by the day, I mean, Thijs is really, drifting off into a completely different style, which I honestly think it's cool. I love his new stuff, especially the stuff that he's recently done with Showtech. But to go back to the Guerrilla sort of epic big stuff, coming from where he is right now, I'm very far away from that style as well. Although I go a bit more left and right, with my productions than Thijs does. So it's more likely that there will ever be a new Guerrilla coming from me solo than together with Thijs. Unfortunately, because the chemistry that we had in the studio was, it was just based on fun, based on ridiculing each other and things, and it's just really that's why there was so much magic in those tracks, because it was just based on fun. But yeah, I don't know. We both have different agendas, right? When you mention the name Bieber, or even Beat, people would stop you already there. But yeah, what I'm gonna do? I still do things out of fun. That's what I've always done, and it's out of a challenge to do something, to try to make. Like a pop artist of his caliber, that is sort of like not liked by our scene in a way. It was a challenge for me to make that cool.
People see it as like a threat.
Yeah, it's not a threat. People have to let me go and do my thing. If I understand that people really want to put me in a box and I know you're from trance and that's what we want you to make. I will die in the box. Because, yeah, seriously, I'll go numb because I'm if I have to listen to those people, I will have to make the same stuff for the next 50 years. And I just simply have to trigger myself to do other stuff. And yes, remixing Bieber was definitely a challenge. And I had fun doing it, and so yeah, that's basically the end of it, really.
Before I ever knew you, 'cause I love the simple thought.
Um, it's a combination of a couple of things. You know, obviously I wanna know what you think as a listener of the next track of a big name. So I may not like it per se. You know, I may not like, for example, the new Dash Berlin, for example. You know, just to say something. Personally, I may not like it, but it's Dash Berlin. It's a big name. I want to play it. I want to see what you think and you know and what it will do voting wise. You know. So I select on the names. Sometimes I select on I like a track that is sort of like really special. It's a little different than the rest. But Corsten doesn't carry the name trance in there, so I select wide range of variety tracks. I start with that more housey sound, and at the end of the show, you're up with the trance.
250.
Yeah, you know, yeah, exactly, yeah. 250. That was an 8-hour show, and it went like housey and up and down and up and down. Yeah, exactly. So that's basically how I select. It's just big names, cool tracks, exclusive tracks sometimes. Yeah, we're working on something, and I have more news about that very soon. But since it's not set in stone yet, I don't really want to mention it because it's gonna change. If so, then I don't. Yeah, there's so many. There's all those guys like Porter and Zed and ADN, who is there tonight as well. I think he's very talented actually. Yeah. I think it's, you know what? I think it's really good. The way it's growing, it might be growing a little too fast. You know, I mean, it's good that it's growing, but the way it's exploding, I'm afraid that there will be an implosion at some point. But you know, it's finally there where we want it to be. You know, for the longest time. When I say we, it's like the industry, you know, has been hoping for this music to break through, and here we are. And you know, and I guess it's a lot of that we have to think, whether you like it or not. We have to thank people like Guetta for that, you know, by hooking up with pop stars, so to create awareness with people who are not into this music at all, to like it, and then by doing that, you know, there's plenty of people who will start exploring to see what else is out there, and they come, you know, they start liking people like Skrillex and therefore Porter Robinson and Armin and me, and so it's a good way how he opened the door for this whole scene to explode basically now, and it's great.